Our culture is amazing. Since the beginning of humanities, we were collecting all kinds of cultural goods, such as sculptures or books. But have you ever asked yourself, why is culture important? And which role does it actually play in our personal lives? Well, to me, culture is made of stories that are connected to each other all around the world. Stories that we like to hear, feel, smell, and touch, simply enjoy with all our senses. These stories help us to understand our past and our present. Then they define who we are by helping us shape ourselves. We are preserving and collecting cultural heritage to keep those stories about us alive. It's something that will be remembered long after our individual lifetime. Nowadays, our world is full with great creative and artistic heritage, such as books, music, videos, images, so you name it. I mean, you know all of it. This material has always inspired us to make something, to create something new. Like shown on this picture here, probably simply taken walking past this memorial plaque, or this example here from the Van Gogh Yourself project, where people look at the painting and they get inspired by it and start to imitate it and start to be part of it. By remixing this material, we create our own personal stories of it. What do these examples have in common? They show how people rethink culture, how they enjoy culture, and how they make personal stories driven by curiosity, emotions, and play instinct. The raw material for these stories also lies in museums, archives, and libraries, but in many cases, these objects are not accessible. They are cut off from the stories they should be interwoven with. And this brings me to the big question of our time, I guess. How can we make culture even better to our companion in everyday life? How can we overcome the cultural gap, which is the lack of access to culture? Access to culture is sadly not yet omnipresent. Sometimes we have to travel to see artworks. In other times, we're asked to pay for admission. And there's a big chance that we will miss all those objects not displayed currently in the exhibition, but still collected by the institution. But with new technology, this is what I believe, with new technology, we can truly overcome the cultural gap by gaining access to our heritage through digitization technologies, digitization of our cultural goods. Digitization technologies can improve and influence how we create and enjoy culture, how we distribute culture. They are linked to everyday lives of people. Digitized content can be experienced by everyone, regardless of state, education, or age. And this is the big chance that we have to create the highest possible inclusion of the many, not the few, so nobody gets shut out. And this is happening all around the world. Cultural institutions put their collections online as open cultural data for everyone to enjoy. Let me show you a few examples. So this one is from the United States National Library of Medicine, the world's largest national library for medical projects, for medical books, for medical manuscripts. So imagine being a medical student. You would love to browse through this collection and see how and discover what the collection has to offer. Or another example, this is the UK National Archives, and it's holding in its collections The Dangers of Sneezing, British government public information films, health propaganda trailers on the dangers of sneezing, produced in the years 1945 to 1952. But it's not only about access. Open cultural data can be used and put into new contexts to create and stimulate new ideas and also add cultural and economic values. New ideas like websites, like remixes that we saw before, like apps, can open up new opportunities for the cultural sector and for those who work in it. Let us have a look at this picture. It's The Fall of Man, painted by Cornelis von Haarlem in the 16th century. So probably every one of you knows this picture. This is a quite famous one. In the middle you see the serpent. Tempted by the serpent, Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, the apple, and were therefore driven from paradise. Now, some 400 years later, hardware developers and designers and cultural lovers, Kati and Niklas, used this material to build something new. And they created the Forbidden Fruit Machine, which is a mechatronic video game. The most essential part of this picture is the joystick with which you can discover hidden special effects in this painting. And you can take over the destiny of the forbidden fruit. And this is how it looks like.
Look, Adam. There's a nice apple.
Oh, that's forbidden Eve. Oh, that's forbidden Eve. Oh my God, Eve. Oh my God, Eve.
As you can see, this painting experience makes the painting more hearable, touchable, tangible for everyone who's playing with this video game. And this brings me to another example: the Coding Da Vinci Open Cultural Data Hackathon in Germany, where designers, developers, software developers, game developers are collaborating with cultural institutions on hardware and software projects. Last year, a team of the project Old Berlin, so Klaus Höfele was the developer of this app, produced this app by using pictures of the City Museum of Berlin. And what you can do with this app, you can browse through time, you can discover places, you can see when and where, which buildings were built, and also you can compare how places looked like before and after. So imagine that, having on your mobile phone when you're traveling around the world and see places that you haven't visited before. Cultural heritage can be used in many different ways, as long as it's accessible and usable for everyone. This is why initiatives all around the world, like OpenGLAM, which are promoting open culture, and projects like Coding Da Vinci that I lead, want to bring together both separated worlds, the technology and the culture. By bringing together people who love being creators, who love culture, together with people who love code, who love technology, we want to foster and exchange experience and also make culture more tangible and interactive for everyone. As Michael Edson said, which I really admire, so he said, "We know on a deeply personal level that doing things matter, and it does not really matter why you do it, as long as you enjoy doing it, as long as you have your own purpose for doing something." By combining culture and technology, I truly think that we can overcome the cultural gap, and we can make culture more accessible, tangible, and usable to all of us. It's a challenging task, I know, but relax, it's just culture that goes along with the technological development of our time. So let's play and experiment open cultural content. Let's embrace open culture. Thank you.